Thank you, Melanie. Needed that little bit of lightness. Good morning. And Happy New Year. Welcome to Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship. Whether you are in the sanctuary or at home on Zoom, you are welcome here. My name is Stephanie Rains, and I'm your MC, and Sue Livingston will be helping me facilitate this wonderful, pretty complicated service on hope and all its complexity. Because of the complexity, and especially those of you on Zoom, I want to give you a little heads up about how we're going to have split screen, and you can use that little slider at the top to change the ratio of the two parts if you're on Zoom. But we're going to try having the screen down the whole time, and on that screen is going to be at least one person from Zoomland who's here in the sanctuary on the screen, which we haven't done before, at least not in recent memory. So I invited people to participate in this service by contributing their answer to the prompt, "Tell us something about hope." We have a variety of creative answers to share with you today. I've thought a lot about the word and the concept. I painted this in 2020 during the early days of the pandemic, and its title is "Tell Us Something About Hope." More of my art, the watercolors part in the service, will be featured on the screen. When times are tough, I often do something called process art, which means I paint without having an outcome in mind. Process painting is deeply comforting and brings me into connection with deeper aspects of myself, and often connects me with God or spirit, or a kind of mystery where something wondrous, unexpected, and sometimes, but not always, really beautiful appears. This kind of art sustains me, helps me to remember my own goodness. Sharing it with you all feels brave and hopeful. I believe hope needs to be combined with some kind of action. Like the old saying about birth control, hope by itself is not a method. So this service gives me hope because people have taken risks and are sharing themselves authentically. And they created something that they're offering to us. This congregation is actually full of people who do that. At least 12 people have done that today. May this service help you ponder your own answer to the question, what gives you hope, what sustains or inspires you, and after the service, I hope you will continue this conversation with each other, and also thank the people who have been brave enough to share their answers with all of us today. Let's begin the new year by connecting with each other and spreading hope. And I'm also going to ask that we start, and I want to do a little shout out to Lee Willis today because she inspires me to remember this. I want to ask that we each sit for a minute and take a deep breath and settle in a little more comfortably with a little more presence into being here together today. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Sue Livingston. Let us begin by giving thanks for what gives us hope and sustains our lives. These lands, waterways, and sky that are the traditional territory of the homelands of the Lummi and Nuksak peoples. And let our thanks be turned into work that deepens a coexistence of care with all the peoples and creation in this wonder where we live. One of the things that Stephanie said inspires her is when people take risks to share themselves authentically. The painter Robert Henry said, "The work of an artist is to surprise himself." Being authentic in the moment often means, I don't know where this will go or how it will turn out, but I'm going for it anyway. Whether that's to share what feels real in words or to try something you do differently this time. And each time we do, it invites who we share with to just maybe risk being authentic too. Even dipping our toe into the unknown opens ourselves, potentially to disappointment as well as fulfillment, because the outcome may not go as we imagined. It may surprise us. But to not listen to our own being, to not risk expressing what's in there, is a sure thing. It's a kind of self-betrayal, because every one of us is irreplaceably original. As we light our flaming chalice, I'd like to honor the act of leaving the comfort of what feels down pat, to trust taking small steps that surprise us. Please join me in saying our covenant. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service gives it life. Celebrating our diversity and joined by a quest for truth, we work for peace and honor all creation. This is our covenant. And now Anna Matheson will lead us in singing and signing "We Are All the Waves of One Sea."
Thank you, Sue. Good morning. I don't know if everyone in the church could hear, but when Stephanie was welcoming us, she said something funny, and some of the adults laughed, and the children laughed, not because they heard what Stephanie said, but because other people were laughing. That's what this song is about. And it's about how I have felt since starting to come to Buff. So we are all the waves of one sea. We did it earlier this fall, so some of you might remember it or recognize it. I cannot take credit for creating this song, only for passing it on for about the last 40 years. I guess I'll sing it one time through quickly and then teach the signs. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come to live as one. We are all the flowers of one garden, and the leaves of one tree, and the waves of one sea. Great, some of you clearly remember it. Some of you have not heard it before. We are all the waves. Waves is to the front of one sea, and sea is to either side. Obviously, we're not going to be signing every word because this is American Sign Language, where you just get the gist of it. We are all the leaves. So when I put my hand here, it means we just look above that hand at the leaf. We are the leaves of one tree. So this is above my hand, you look at the tree. The time, put a thumb on one of your palms and make a clock with your forefinger. The time has come. Start away from your body and move towards your body. To live, this is an L in American Sign Language, and we do it up our torso. To live as one. We are all the flowers, we're smelling the flowers of one garden. You can make the garden any shape you like, and leave it in or put that out. And then we back up, the leaves of one tree and the waves of one sea. There's no wrong way to do it. Children, you're invited to join us in moving your hands however you like, and the children and us, please enjoy it. I realize that most of us are facing this way, so you'll only see 3 of us signing. I invite you the last time through, when we do it in silence, to turn your bodies, if you can, and see how beautiful it is to see the whole congregation doing it, especially if you're on your sides. On the sides of the church, that would be easy to look and see other people signing. So we'll sing it through 3 times and then do it in silence. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come to live as one. We are all the flowers of one garden, and the leaves of one tree, and the waves of one sea. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come to live as one. We are all the flowers of one garden, and the leaves of one tree, and the waves of one sea. Last time with singing. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come to live as one. We are all the flowers of one garden, and the leaves of one tree, and the waves of one sea.
join me in singing our children, if they would like to go upstairs with Junia.
Thank you. That was fun. Betty Scott is going to recite the poem A Shrine to Calloused Hands. And there will be art by Susan R. Lytle called Early Morning Magic, accompanying Betty.
Hello. It's great to be here in this community where I can say words sustain me and bring me hope. Words are sexy. Have you noticed? We can say words procreate. They are pros at creating. An example? Words embody and create poets. For hope, I combine historical and emerging meanings of words with their melodies to support various life forms on behalf of future generations. As Stephanie said, I will read my poem twice. The first time, I'm not sure, are you seeing the poem on screen or me? Or the second time you'll see us, or you're seeing the slide. I see you're seeing a slide, the beautiful painting as Susan, as you heard, by my friend Susan Lytle of Seattle, and it's titled Early Morning Magic. Please enjoy. A shrine to calloused hands. May this moment to pause become an homage to bless givers of care, dear ones immortalized here on this tree-lined boulevard, a stately place for plaques to praise open fists, which know the chronic nature of pain, yet still through centuries have served unclenched. Thank you, workers, for crops you pick. Thank you, caregivers who navigate through blood and fears, rattle of lungs, last gasp breath, rising up. Thank you for enduring the clamor as you lift others up from beds and bunks. Floors you mop, dishes you wash during your day's dance with death. May this shrine bring us to contentment's path, defined as love that cherishes life. A shrine to calloused hands. May this moment to pause become an homage to bless givers of care, dear ones immortalized here on this tree-lined boulevard, a stately place for plaques to praise open fists, which know the chronic nature of pain, yet still through centuries have served unclenched. Thank you, workers, for crops you pick. Thank you, caregivers who navigate through blood and fears, rattle of lungs, last gasp breath, rising up. Thank you for enduring the clamor as you lift others up from beds and bunks. And if you'd like to join in, you can say, thanks for toilets you clean, floors you mop, dishes you wash during your day's dance with death. May this shrine bring us to contentment's path, defined as love that cherishes life. Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Oh, I love that that worked. Thank you, Betty. Our next presenter is not on Zoom or in the sanctuary, but Jamie Curley has submitted these beautiful slides of pottery that she did many years ago. The collection is called Prayers for the Wild, Glimpses into What's Worth Saving. These are her words describing these pieces. The first one is called Fin Cloud from 1972. Black and white, in motion, clouds, a windy, watery stage set observed by a figure. Number 2 is called Face Vase. White clay, tinted and rubbed to life. Number 3, Wrapped Tea Cozy. Leafless twigs bound to the elemental shape by cloth scraps and throwing off brilliant colors. Number 5, Torn Moon Vase. I don't think that's quite the right one. There it is, thank you. Torn Moon Vase. The walls of this vase are so thin, each piece of clay is thrown like pizza dough onto a canvas-covered surface until it's as thin as could be and still able to make it through the molten firing in a kiln. Elastic, like skin. The pale surface is rubbed with dark pigment, which is then rubbed off, sticking only in the crevices and creases like skin. Then watercolor washes. It's a three-dimensional watercolor. Number 6, sea waves and clouds. Watery and in motion. Oops, I skipped 3 prayers for the wild, didn't I, Jeff? It wasn't you, it was me. We want to go back, or is it too tricky? Okay, let's go back to number 4, 3 prayers for the wild. A translucent trio of vases, like pairs of hands celebrating the endless music of nature and life. Then we did Torn Moon Vase, so the next one is Sea Waves Clouds, number 6. Watery and in motion, washing down, blown back up, hidden behind, rushing. Number 7 is called Forest bones. In this piece, I am remembering the 1999 Olympic pipeline explosion, which incinerated all living things in Whatcom Creek, killed 3 boys, as well as the forest along the creek. This 3-part sculpture has a home in the Wade King Rec Center on the campus of Western Washington University. Wade King was one of the boys who died. The King family gave some of their reparation money to build the rec center in memory of their sports-loving boy. And that sculpture is there in the Wade King Center. Number 8. We have multiple images of this one, multiple slides, because you have to see some of the different aspects. She made this piece in 2012. It's called Landscape with Ovoid. Again, it has the feel of a stage set, white clay tinted with watercolors and strokes of colored pencil. The voices of collage, textures and strokes of some recognizable objects, a studded leather boxing glove, coffee bean bags, and then the ovoid is listening, hidden, knowing. So thank you to Jamie for putting these slides together for us. Melanie, our wonderful keyboardist, is going to move to a different microphone and lead us in her reflections on Kuan Yin.
You probably have seen images of Kuan Yin, pictures or little statues like this one. She is known in the Buddhist tradition as the great celestial bodhisattva of compassion. A bodhisattva is a person who delays his or her full enlightenment in order to aid in the liberation of all beings. This little statue shows her posture called royal ease that suggests self-assurance and relaxation, a grounded, loving, accepting presence. She originated in India as the male figure Avalokiteshvara. In China, over time, the depiction changed from androgynous male to a cosmic mother figure. Her Chinese name, Kuan Yin, means she who hearkens to the cries of the world. She's revered throughout Asia, and her image has been brought here by Asian immigrants. She is believed to comfort human beings and save them from disaster. Even though my earlier study was with a Tibetan Buddhist Lama, my spiritual connection with Kuan Yin came alive years later through my sound healing teacher, Tom Kenyon. Through his voice, I also became sensitive to the archetypal power of Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. And this, the latter ones, occurred in deep ways that had never touched me in my upbringing as a Christian. One of the sources of our UU living tradition is wisdom from the world's religions, which inspires us in our ethical and spiritual life. Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and some other goddesses from Celtic, Egyptian, Hindu traditions inspire me to be a more compassionate and fearless person. When I reflect on their images, say or sing their mantras and prayers, I am strengthened, and that gives me hope. In closing, I would like to clarify one thing. I do not regard my reverence toward these sacred figures as being theistic. Another of the sources of Unitarian Universalism is this: direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. So now, in the spirit of meditation, I will sing a traditional chant for Kuan Yin. In Chinese, the words are Namo Kuan Yin Fusa, and this translates as, I call upon the Bodhisattva who sees and hears the sufferings of the world. So you can meditate in your own way, but at the very least, I do encourage you to just notice your posture, sit up a little bit straighter, and feel your feet on the floor. Pay attention to your breathing in and out. I will start the chant. I actually got this from my sound healing teacher from a source he had from Tibet and Nepal, so this was used in a sacred way, this tingsha. So just relax. You can, eyes open or closed, doesn't matter. Namo Kuan Yin Pusa. 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 Now just notice your out breath.
Thank you, Melanie. Carrie Kenline is going to share 2 short poems called Pantoums.
Good morning. Well, a few weeks ago, our own Reverend Tessie Mandeville taught me how to write a pantoum, and that's a Malaysian form of poetry that kind of folds in each line a second time in an interesting way that I think allows you to hear the lines in a fresh way. Anyway, I've found that writing these pantoums is a way to really turn towards little things and big things that are treasures I might otherwise have missed. Little objects that might help me gather my life story, things in my neighborhood I might walk right by. So I'm going to share two pantoums, one about something very small and one about something very big. This little white bunny. I got this little white bunny in the 2nd grade. My teacher, Mrs. Turk, gave it to me. I was the new kid in class. She had invited my mother and me to her house for lunch. My teacher, Mrs. Turk, gave it to me. She also gave me a Swiss bookmark. She invited my mother and me to her house for lunch. She served us finger sandwiches. She also gave me a Swiss bookmark. In class, she read to us from Heidi. She served us finger sandwiches. I loved school, and I was afraid of our new house. In class, she read to us from Heidi. I was the new kid in class. I loved school, and I was afraid of our new house. I got this little white bunny in the 2nd grade. That's the very small thing. This one is called Sequoia. There is a tree nearby on an ordinary street. I've always thought of it as Clarence's tree. It looks like a giant Christmas tree, perfectly shaped. I thought of it as one more thing Clarence had trimmed to perfection. I've always thought of it as Clarence's tree. How did I miss that it was a giant sequoia? I thought of it as one more thing Clarence had trimmed to perfection. Inside it is a whole secret world. How did I miss it was a giant sequoia? My friend Stephanie didn't hesitate to step between its boughs. Inside it is a whole secret world. A buck deer was peacefully resting there. Inside it is a whole secret world. It looks like a giant Christmas tree, perfectly shaped. A buck deer was peacefully resting there. There is a tree nearby on an ordinary street. Thank you. Now, please join me in singing My Life Flows On in Endless Song. It's hymn number 108 in your gray hymnals, but I think the words are also on the screen.
Music Good.
Carrie and Beth are going to sing backup with Ted, who's singing his original song, Where the Wind Blows.
I'd like to invite all of you to travel back in time with me about 30 years ago. I had suddenly found myself alone with a very uncertain future, and all the things I had planned on were not happening. And it was one of those Bellingham days where in the fall and early winter, when the winds pick up, I looked out the window and there were leaves picked up by the wind and swirled around, and they'd land somewhere else. And suddenly, these words started to come to me for a song, and my heart lightened. It came to me, and it told me that the future, even though I didn't know what it would look like, would be fine. It would be fine. And many wonderful things have happened in those 30 years. I love that we just sang, How Can I Keep From Singing, because the Bellingham Friends meeting helped me through that time, and I've always connected that song with the Quakers. And then during the next several years, wonderful things happened. I became part of a musical group called Equinox, and we put out 2 CDs, and they helped me turn the song that came to me back 30 plus years ago into a piece that brings together many voices. And Beth and Carrie are going to sing with me. We spent many years singing together in Equinox. And this is a sing-along. You can imagine you're sitting around a campfire, just make up whatever harmonies. It's very easy. When the chorus comes around, you'll know your part. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. You never hear a leaf saying, I just want to stay here. Or another leaf whining, I want to blow the other way. Where the wind blows, the leaves will go wherever it may flow. And where the wind carries them is where they're meant to go. Here's your part. Where the wind goes, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. I sit here in my lonely room, looking at what I've lost, wondering if I'll ever get back the loving that it cost. But as I watch the unfolding my life is going through, I know within my deepest heart the wind blows through me too. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. Ooh. thirsting for things that are not near. We get just what we need if we let that wind blow clear. And if we let our spirits soar the way they want to go. Remember where the wind dies down, in the springtime we will grow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow. Where the wind blows, the leaves will follow it home. The leaves will follow it home. Thanks for joining me, and I want to end by just saying one of the great things that came in these last years is my beautiful 14-year-old daughter. Thanks.
Wah, wah, wah. Oh. I'll just introduce this by saying this is from one of the many musicals based on Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and this is a version by Alan Menken and Lynn Ahrens. Let the stars in the sky remind us of man's compassion. Let us love till we die, and God bless us everyone. In your heart there's a light as bright as a star in heaven. Let it shine through the night, and God bless us everyone. Till each child is fed, till all people free, till the world becomes a family. Star by star up above, and kindness by human kindness. Light this world with your love, and God bless us everyone. Till each child is fed, till all people free, till the world becomes a family. Let the stars in the sky remind us of man's compassion. Let us love till we die, and God bless us everyone.
And God bless us every one.
What a beautiful song. It's fine. We're going to introduce Rick. Just very briefly on the screen. There he is.
Oh,
Not quite. It's all right. We'll get there. Sue.
hi, Rick.
Yeah, hi, Rick. There he is.
One day, Rick Herman called me up and asked if I was interested in playing some of his music. He's written, performed, and recorded many beautiful songs of exquisite guitar work and lyrics that he finds he can no longer perform at the level he would like to. Rick, I am honored that you asked and that you trust me with this gift of song. Friendship is at the very heart of my hope, so thank you. This is Rick's song, You Are a Friend to Me. When I see your eyes, I see the wonder. I hear the music, I feel the thunder. You are a friend to me without condition, with no illusion, without permission. Oh, you are a friend to me. You are a flame. You are a light. You are a star in the northern sky. And you're a friend to me. Sometimes my happiness, it makes me wonder just what illusion I am under. I call you on the phone to say, how are you? You say, I'm good, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, you are a friend to me. You are a flame. You are a light. You are a star in the northern sky. And you're a friend to me. When I see your eyes, I see the wonder. I hear the music, I feel thunder. You are a friend to me without condition, with no illusion, without permission. Oh, a friend to me. You are a flame. You are a light. You are my star in the northern sky. And you're a friend to me. And you're a friend to me.
So, Rick, what you can't see is all the applause in the sanctuary. And I wanted to thank you not just for this song, but for all the poetry and songs you've shared with us over the years. You are a blessing to this congregation.
Yeah, my mic is oh, here I am. One of the best things that ever happened to me, for me and my music, was meeting Andrea Rackel at this piano and becoming her student. And what a treat that she's here today with Shayla, also one of her students.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to just sit in the pews and mostly listen today. Yeah, one of my main callings in life is to be a piano teacher. Here's some of my crew. This was at our most recent recital. You won't find Sue in that picture, however, because she was home nursing a terrible sea urchin stingray sting. I teach what I call the 4 arts in music, so all of my students learn not just how to interpret music, which is, the reading and historical understanding of playing music, but they also learn to improvise, to arrange music, and to compose their own music. Working with this group of people brings me incredible hope for the future because they are learning to express themselves, to work really hard, and they're so dedicated to what they do in this totally optional subject in their life. So, total inspiration to these people. They work really hard, they're awesome, and we also like to have a lot of fun. We try not to take ourselves too seriously, but we are serious about our work. So I brought Shayla with me today, one of my high school students, who is a total gem, which you're about to hear. And she's going to share a song that she wrote, which was a totally inspired song. She wrote it after attending a celebration of life for one of our dear friends and mentors, Forrest Kinney, who did a lot of work in creating curriculum for teaching creativity. And she attended online, this was during COVID, a celebration for him, and that night stayed up late into the night writing this song, just totally inspired. So please welcome Shayla.
but I'm already out of breath. I feel like I'm floating, but I can't sense the motion yet. My thoughts, they have a rhythm. My mind keeps them apart. I hear a steady beat go, the last one of my heart. I will fly away. I will fly away. I'll be the angel looking over you, make sure that you're happy. I'll be your light, your dark, your sun, your moon, so you'll always have me. I'll be the bird you see outside your house, so you're never lonely. And just like he flies towards the sun, I will fly away.
Your donations and gifts support the running of this sanctuary and the community of Buff as it supports the greater community of Bellingham. The partnerships that Buff is engaged with help sustain the hope and means of improving many challenges within our community. For all of you joining us on Zoom, ways that you can give will appear on your screen and in your chat box. Thank you in advance for your generosity today, for giving what you are able. As the ushers come down the center aisles, and then they will come out back down the side aisles. And as they do, take in the music improvised in the here and now by Andrea and Shayla.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sky Hedman has written a short essay that she's going to read for us called When I Die.
Okay, it is called When I Die. It is subtitled Humor Helps. Being one who lies awake outlining the various future catastrophes that my life might encounter, I decided today to instead visualize some Hollywood moments where I would be filled with everlasting joy. Of course, one universal specter that I worry about is, how will I die? Not actually the moment of death, but the period leading up to it. To be fair, I also worry about the time after my death. Will Lynn be okay? If she isn't okay, alive, would my pets be taken care of? This follows my anxiety about being lonely as I age, being alone, worse yet, being in a facility with understaffed and overworked aides and nurses and no. Okay, I'm not going further with the details of these fears, all of which could easily happen, most likely will happen. Instead, I'm going to create a glowing vision of the future. It will start with me being in perfect health until the moment I die. I will be energetic. I'll be physically rigorous. I will hear perfectly and see better than I do now. I will still drive and dress myself and feed myself. Of course, I will have plenty of money to sustain my lifestyles, so no worries there. The economy, in fact, will be so strong that the city, the state, the country, and the world will be prosperous. The oceans will be free of plastics. Okay, maybe this dream is getting too big. But you know what I mean. The world will be in such a state that I don't have to worry about it, even if I end up in a long-term care facility. But wait, I am the creator of this future. I will not be in a long-term care facility. I will live in a friendly neighborhood where I know my neighbors and children and their dogs. I will look at a pleasant view out my window, like the one I have now, where I see Bellingham Bay and Lummi Island and Orcas. Okay, so I don't need to create that for the future. I already have it. It's just, can I stay here as I age? Which of us will die first, Lynn or me? I know I'm in fantasy mode, so I could draw the future such that we both die at the same time. Neither of us will live through broken-hearted loneliness that would come from being the surviving partner. I would include an option for being the widow, but I wouldn't have crying jags, tears down my cheeks, rocking back and forth in grief, because I would have researched healthy ways to grieve, and I will be following the directions to a T. And I wouldn't be afraid to be alone at night by myself because I would be a different person. I'm the author here, I remind you. I'll be filled with gratitude for the great life Lynn and I have lived together, and I will be consoled by memories. This future will be positive for all of us, and we would all let go of our fears of the future. No worries would be the honest truth. I would continue to wake up every morning full of optimism, all until the day I die. And that day would be typical of every day in our world, days of having enough. Enough food, warmth, companionship, views, cute dogs, music, aspirations, and lived dreams. Oh yes, I forgot the detail of how I would die. I would receive a vision that my final day was coming. I would pull out my detailed plan about who should be notified, who would take care of the pets, who would empty the house, and all that. I would listen one more time to Yo-Yo Ma. I would already have bequeathed my cello to a deserving student. People would care that I'm gone, but they would have a warm feeling in their hearts and smile when they think of me and my magical powers to bequeath to everyone an ending that is happy. Full, well-paid employment for caregivers, supportive, compassionate homes for all children and pets, sunlit days alternating with needed rain, healthy trees filled with an abundance of birds, fresh air in all directions, hands to hold, songs to sing, love to overflow in each heart.
Thank you, Sky. We're waiting for your magic wand. Tessie Mandeville is going to read a pantoum, a lovely one.
My partner Lisa and I, we celebrated our 23rd anniversary this past fall, and as a gift to us, thank you, as a gift to us, I had us do an online writers retreat, and the featured speakers were Anne Lamott, it's one of my favorites, Julia Cameron, who's best known for The Artist's Way, and there was a new to me writer there. Her name is Linda Jones, and she introduced spoken art and pantoums to me, and Carrie already told us a little bit about that. But it's from the 15th century Malaysian culture, and it was their folk song, and they recited it, and they often sung it, and there was a repetition to it. And for whatever reasons, it has just reached in and grabbed hold of my heart, and I've just been writing them almost every day. And this one is called Immersion and Emergence. Immersion and emergence sustain me and give me hope. I wander deep into the heart of the forest until all my senses are enveloped in your sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touches. With your permission, I breathe out my stress, cry my uncountable tears of grief. Spew my guttural rage and sweat out my worries, because I've learned that your great expansiveness can hold and compost it all. Emptied, I emerge in hope and wholeness, ready to love again on a deeper level. I wander deep into the heart of the forest until all my senses are enveloped in your sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touches. Sometimes I weep with wonder over your majesty, and other times I laugh out loud at your abundantly lush presence. Emptied, I emerge in hope and wholeness, ready to love again on a deeper level. A metamorphosis happens on a cellular level, and I am reborn. Sometimes I weep with wonder over your majesty, and other times I laugh out loud at your abundantly lush presence. I bow in reverence to your magnificence and generosity. A metamorphosis happens on a cellular level, and I am reborn. I pour out the water from my bottle that I saved for you and offer it in love and gratitude. I bow in reverence to your magnificence and generosity. With your permission, I breathe out my stress, cry my uncountable tears of grief, spew my guttural rage, and sweat out my worries, because I've learned that your great expansiveness can hold and compost it all. I pour out the water from my bottle that I saved for you and offer it in love and gratitude. Immersion and emergence sustain me and give me hope. Thank you. Another thing that gives me hope is our monthly Taizé service, which happens on the first Monday of every month, which means tomorrow we'll be gathering here in the sanctuary and with our Zoom community to sing and pray and meditate by candlelight. And our theme tomorrow, in honor of the new year, but really in honor of any threshold that we've crossed or that we're crossing, that we will soon cross together. So I invite you to come and join us tomorrow in the sanctuary or online at 7:00 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. I forget who said, if all we ever said was thank you, that would be enough. And I had some other things prepared to say, but really what I want to say in benediction is thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you to all of the people who contributed to this service. And I want to particularly thank our tech crew. And invite you all to join in Circle Round. And we're going to be an outer circle and an inner circle. And I want to remind everyone that taking hands is a lovely tradition, but you might actually not touch hands because some people would prefer to keep separate. So you can lead in that direction.